Welcome to Cosmic Comics, Games and Collectibles, your zen of geekism. We carry comics old and new, magazines, toys, games like Pokemon, Magic, D&D. Want Godzilla, Ultraman, Star Trek, Ninja Turtles, Funko Pops? You'll find it all here. Shop our Cosmic Sound Room and pick up a record or two. Enjoy our Comic Coffee Lounge with a cup of Sasquatch coffee or a delicious menu item while geeking out over a super cool movie on our big screen. Come by and say hello to Maui. Cosmic Comic, Games and Collectibles. Superman loves us, and so will you.
Beginning with issue number 1, Mike Baron wrote Marvel's The Punisher for over 5 years, approaching it as a straight crime comic, without any superheroes, aliens, or robots. Over the course of 60 issues, Baron elevated the gritty anti-hero into one of the most popular and enduring characters in the Marvel Comics universe. Now he brings that same ultra-realistic intensity to his latest graphic novel, Thin Blue Line. In the middle of a long, hot summer, a police shooting ignites a city. Activists, opportunists, and provocateurs descend to riot, loot, burn, and kill. Thin Blue Line follows Officer Valeria Baca and her partner as their detail guarding the mayor turns into a battle for survival. Ride along on this harrowing tale of two brave law enforcement officers fighting for their community and their own survival in a world gone mad. Eisner winner Mike Baron has created an alarming tale that unflinchingly examines human fallibility on every level. Along with penciler Joe Arnold, himself a full-time police officer, and talented inker Jeff Slemons, they've created a moving and entertaining story ripped straight from today's headlines. Thin Blue Line exposes the defund the police movement and its consequences for society, but several comic book companies have refused to publish it. Now we're asking you to join the effort to distribute it independently and help support the men and women of law enforcement. Get your copy of the only graphic novel to offer an unflinching and not always flattering look at the men and women of law enforcement during a time when we need them the most. Not all heroes wear capes. It's a thin blue line between the rule of law and a world of chaos. Which side are you on? Thin Blue Line by Mike Baron. Order now on Indiegogo.
There's a thin blue line fighting back the crime, protecting me and you with a barricade of blue. There's a thin blue line watching all the time, running to the fray when others run away. There's a thin blue line.
And good evening. I am RJ Carter, Senior Managing Editor here at CriticalBlast.com. And tonight we have royalty in the house. He's always been a baron, but this last week he became a king. Welcome and congratulations on the promotion, Mike.
Thank you, RJ.
Man, I am really liking what I am seeing with this new campaign. $18,000 for Thin Blue Line so far. That's you got to be feeling really proud about that right now.
We are gratified, but if we make it to 20,000, I dye my hair blue.
I would do the same thing, but it would just.
Well, I'm not at that level yet. At 30, I dyed green. 40, mohawk. 50, I shaved my skull.
Okay, so are you going to do it in stages? I mean, like as soon as
Well, yeah, I mean, we're not going to hit 50,000 overnight.
No, but I mean, if you dye it blue and then it goes on to the next one, you're going to dye it green on top of the blue and then mohawk it on top of the green?
Well, I'm going to wash the blue out, and then I'm going to add the green. And then when I get to the mohawk, if I'm still green, well, I'll just have a green mohawk.
Yeah, that'll work. You'll fit right into the comic book world that way.
Now, I got a lot of hair too.
Yeah, I know, man. You got an enviable head of hair.
Thank you.
I made the. I mean, my dad went bald a lot younger than I did, and I haven't really gone. I shaved it down, and after shaving it down, I used to comb to the side, had nice hair, but I got lazy and cheap, and I was like, barbers, I got this thing. I just shaved it all down.
Have
Now
you
it
thought
grows
of a
straight
nice
out.
toupee?
I should do that. I should go get something like that to paste on top. Yeah, there's a little shop downtown, Hell to Pay. I might see what I can do with that. So Mike, how long is this? I'm going to throw the campaign up here so people can see it. And by the way, folks, while we're talking, the link to this campaign is right over there at the top of the chat. It's also right below the video. Click on both.
We got 5 days left.
5 days left, and already we had questions in from the chat.
I see them. All
Stupendous.
mine.
Was it Mike or Klaus that created Microchip?
All mine.
All yours.
Yep.
So now he was in the movie,
Yes, he was.
or rather not the. Well, I don't know about the movie because I haven't. It's been a long time since.
You mean the TV series?
Yeah, the series. So did you get any any of that Marvel
I did.
cheddar? Good. You
It's
said
all
yes.
gone.
Right? Oh, but you went to McDonald's and that was it, right?
Yeah.
That's what I kind of figured. Lorenzo saying hi, Nick saying hi. Glad you guys are here. Backer number 6 or 8, but you were in early, Nick. Thank you. Yeah, and the Tin Soldier book that Nick is doing is also a police supporting book, police officer hero. So yeah, I get the connection there, man. Mike, how long were you sitting on this story? How long was it gestating when you decided that this had to be something that you had to write?
Well, it's hard to say. I always say I don't choose my stories choose me.
Yeah.
And this one happened to choose me because, like millions of other people, I was watching the TV all of last summer, the summer before, watching cities go up in flames and looters rampaging through buildings, running off with their arms full of goods. And always out front, there was some proud member of the lickspittle addressing a camera saying, "These are mostly peaceful protests." And then the cries for defund the police began. And at that point, I knew I had to write about it because it just struck me as so insane. How do we get to this place where people who have been entrusted with a certain amount of responsibility, by which I mean our professional parasite class, are calling for defunding the police? And these are people who never worry about where their next paycheck is coming from and enjoy private security details, and yet they're calling for defunding the police. It was absurd. You're either for the rule of law or you're not. Without the rule of law, there's no civilization. Without civilization, there's no peace, there's no individual liberty. It made this country the greatest country on earth and created the great wealth, which has made us the object of intense hatred and envy, even from a good portion of our own citizens. But then I sat down to write it, and it just kind of wrote itself. And one thing I have to stress is it's not didactic or preachy in the slightest. It's solid drama from the first page to the last. It pops and crackles from panel to panel, which is what I try to do. And by that, I mean, I want to grab the reader's attention totally. I want him to find every part of this entertaining. It's my first goal always is to entertain. And I believe I've succeeded. It's just a real good story. When you're done with it, you're going to say, why can't other comics do this?
Well, why can't other comics publishers publish this? That's a valid question, seeing as how this was shopped around, and I saw some of the responses.
Oh yeah, it was ridiculous. But that's their business, and they're not going to be around for long. They appear to be committing suicide before our eyes.
I hear you. I can't believe the unprofessional responses that were coming in on this, because it wasn't just like, thank you for your submission, we're not looking at the time. But it was like, what it was like, get out of here with this propaganda.
Yeah.
And
fuck the police.
Yeah. Like, That could not have been DC or Marvel. Please, God, that was not DC or Marvel. That was
Well, these people that staff the modern big publishing houses are not qualified for their jobs. They don't come out of writing. Uh, they don't understand what editing does. And that wasn't the case when I got into comics. We had real writers and real editors, and they were often the same people like Denny O'Neil or Archie Goodwin, who knew how to tell a story. And they understood that the comics' first business was to entertain.
yeah, and not only did they know how to tell a story, Mike, but I always contend that was an era where the people who made comics were people who loved comics, and that we don't have that.
Yes, it's true. And some of those people back then who loved comics have morphed completely into people who see comics as a platform for their agenda.
Yeah, it's when you get to the opportunity to put words in someone's mouth.
Yeah.
Someone like Superman, someone like Captain America. There's a big responsibility there not to make those words yours.
Stupendous wants to know if there's anything I would have done different in Dead Man, and no, Stupendous, I don't think there is. I'm very proud of those books.
Dead Man's an interesting character because you never could see him unless he was in somebody else. So,
Well, not the way that Kelly and I did him, but that's because we changed the focus completely. Instead of being a superhero, he became a horror character.
yeah, okay, that's true. It was and Kelly Jones' art for that was the perfect combination because it was very Sandman-esque, very.
Oh, yeah.
Kelly's got a grotesque style that.
Yeah, he does. He's of the same school as Bernie Wrightson and Graham Ingalls and those guys that just created that unique style that's uniquely suited to horror comics. Kyle Holtz is another one.
Yeah. Stu also wants to know where you keep your Eisner Awards. And are they worth anything these days? Because
They're in a box in the garage, Stupendous.
in a box, because the next time Ann cleans out the garage, you might have a sale.
Oh, no, I treasure them. That's just where they happen to be.
Robert Frank is thanking you. Glad that someone had balls to write a book like this. Back the blue, definitely back the blue.
Thank you, Robert.
And I think that while your story is presenting, the side of Law and Order, you're not clear cut. These are all the good guys. Everybody in a uniform is a hero.
No, there are shades of gray.
Yeah.
It's the writer's job to imagine every point of view of every character in whatever he's writing, and I try to do that. And it's not propaganda, as I said. There's no preaching, but there are a couple of police officers who may be a little shady, and we don't deny that they exist. But one of the reasons I wrote this is I know a number of police, and the police I know, at least to a man, are civic-minded individuals who joined the force to make a difference, not to make a difference the way a politician means, but to make a real difference. And by that, doing good, trying to promote civic responsibility and order, keeping the peace. They try to help people, and they don't do it with a news crew following them around or issuing press releases.
Yeah. You know what else police officers do, Mike? And I found this out from personal experience. Some of them buy comic books.
I know. And in fact, I have 3 police officers contributing pinups to our book.
Oh, that's awesome. So they're making comics too. I mean, your artist is a police officer.
Yes, he is, Joe. Joe is a full-time police officer. He's a veteran of the Army Airborne, and he's a skilled jiu-jitsu practitioner, which you'll see when you read the book, because our fight scenes, unlike the fight scenes in 90% of comics, are extremely realistic and exciting.
That's something that's always been important in your books, from Badger to Punisher to Thin Blue Line, because you yourself are a martial arts. Can we say expert? You're a couple of levels up in the black belt area, right?
I dabble.
Yeah. You're not somebody I'd want to get into a bar fight with.
I wouldn't want to get in a bar fight with you, RJ.
Oh no, I'm a lightweight, man. You just look at me wrong, and I'll be like, yeah, I'm on the floor. Uh,
Well, I don't claim to be any kind of a badass, but I do train with some badasses.
yeah, but I learned from Mike Tierney, who runs who ran 2 comic stores in Little Rock, that he had customers who were police officers and would come in and buy books, and they all dropped off because they got tired of seeing themselves in their profession almost 100% portrayed in the comics as, hey, these are the bad guys. This is
It's insane.
it's an ACAB kind of comic, and and that's just become what comics are now. The bad guys are the ones in the uniform.
Well,
Heroes
except
get
for
beat.
Comicsgate. Now, Comicsgate is blessedly politics free. They don't have an agenda other than to entertain, which is my agenda. And this just happens to be one more story I ripped from the headlines, as I did the whole time I was writing Punisher or Nexus. And anybody who reads those books knows that I was inspired by the events of the world, as every writer must be. But there's no caricatures here. It's just straight drama. It's the stuff of drama. And that's the reason that our broadcast media has been flooded with police, medical, and legal shows for the last half century, because all those professions deal with the matters of life and death. And that's what drama is. It's serious consideration. It's often life and death. And those are the kind of stories we tell, even in superhero stories. I may have to yell at my dog here for a minute. Nah, he's cool.
We love dogs around here. We've got one that barks, defends us from the squirrels and the evil FedEx man.
Oh, speaking of that, I'm going to post something here in your Twitter feed because Bob is just hell on squirrels, and I'm very proud of him. He brought this in the other day, and I don't know if you can post it or even if you want to,
Sure.
but certainly we're very proud of it. I stepped on it in the living room. That's how we found it.
Oh boy. Yes. As soon as it pops up here, I'll drag it over to the screen and we'll show it. Now he brought you a present.
Here we go. There we go. Yes, indeed. Bob strikes again.
Oh, Bob's a good dog.
Are you going to show that?
Yeah, I got.
Yeah, baby.
Got to drag it across the screens. There we go. Look at that. Now, obviously, if you go outside and look in Bob's doghouse, there's a little squirrel head mounted to the wall in there.
Oh, I think it's already passed through the system. And this is like Bob's eighth squirrel.
I figured he put it on a little wooden plaque. Well, there's one less squirrel.
One less squirrel to terrorize the neighborhood.
Yep, your power transformers are completely safe.
That's right. Bo Smith's dog Cobb is in awe of Bob. Hey, you want to play the video?
The video here?
Yeah.
Isn't it the video I played at the beginning?
Oh, did you? Never mind.
I play them separate.
That's right. That's right. I remember. What's your name again?
You're not that old, Mike. Although I've started taking those memory vitamins every morning now because I'm like, I started going to the bathroom and saying, what did I come in here for again? I'm like, there's not that many options.
My wife put a sign up in the kitchen. Be sure to turn off stove.
Yeah, when you get sticky notes all over the place in the house telling you what to do, it's my phone reminder list is like a mile long because it's like if I got to do something, I just say, hey, phone, remind me at this time to do this thing. So it's always going off.
I write it down in a big notepad I carry around with me.
I used to do that. I used to put it on sticky notes and shove it in my pocket, and then it started to look like I had gynecomastia because my pocket would get so full with notes, and then I couldn't read them. Stu's asking so many questions. I gave him the link. I was like, Stu, you want to come in and ask these questions? Because he is a writer on our site. Curious about the energy around Valiant when you worked there in the 90s. Was it fun or stressful being an upstart competing with Image and then teaming up with them?
Oh, I never got a sense of that. It was an exciting job for me. I enjoyed those characters. I regret that I didn't do a better job on Archer and Armstrong. I never really got them. And if I had an opportunity to get them back, I would do a lot better. But I'm happy with the work I did on Turok and Shadow Man and Ninjak. I think those are real solid stories.
Turok's always been an interesting character to me because it's like every time he gets a comic, he's never the same guy I saw in the last comic. It's like because I remember the Charlton ones where it was like he was an American Indian hunting dinosaurs,
Right.
and I thought he lived in the dinosaur days, like a caveman, but then he became like this time lost Indian, or he found a valley of time forgot, and then he's like running Jurassic Park. My son has the Nintendo 64 game of Turok, and I don't even know what he does there except run around and shoot people. So let's look at some of the tiers you got here, because you've got this awesome cover, by the way, that Jeff Slemmon's painted. This is a painted
Yes,
cover.
that's over Joe's pencils.
That's just and I'm really concerned that this cover is going to be the news again tomorrow or the day after in Kenosha.
If they had deployed the National Guard in the first place and had a zero tolerance for rioting, none of this would be occurring. Just they brought it on themselves, and by them, I mean the politicians that run these blue states.
Yeah, and we're already seeing tweets. There was a Marvel writer of all people that said, if it comes back that Kyle Rittenhouse is acquitted, burn the city down.
Makes no sense. Well, if they act forcefully and arrest a lot of people, maybe they'll nip it in the bud. Maybe they've learned from their lessons.
I hope so. I'm afraid that they just have learned how to wait it out every time now, because that's all they seem to do.
Yeah, I hate to see it because, as you know, I'm from Wisconsin.
Yeah, that's why Badger was from Wisconsin, because University of Wisconsin, right?
Yep.
It's the Badger's the mascot. So your featured tier here is $120. You get 2 copies of the book. You get a donation certificate because some of that money is going to go to
Adopt a Cop.
Adopt a Cop. I didn't see it listed here for where it was going, but yeah, it's going to go support police efforts. You're going to get a ride-along coin. That's going to be cool because I've seen these coins. That's a pretty heavy piece of metal.
It is heavy metal. I got one right here. Let me show it to you.
Oh, well, let me give you the big screen. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's gorgeous.
This one happens to commemorate explosive sniffing dogs.
Now, is that one like what we're going to see in the campaign, or you still
Yes.
waiting?
Yes, I got this in Phoenix a couple years ago when I went on a ride-along with Mark Schweikert, who's a Phoenix police officer and a huge comic fan. And Mark throws a convention every year to raise money for charity.
That's gonna be awesome. 30 of those have been claimed, so I'd like to see some more of those go out here, just because of where the money's going. And of course, if you're a digital person, you can get just the digital. We know there's a lot of people who absolutely have to have it that way. It's the only way they can get it.
And remember, those digitals are non-fungible.
Yeah, they're NFT digitals. You gonna do that to us now?
They're all identical, but each one can only be shown to the person who purchased it.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Special PDF code in there. That's something I don't get that, Mike. I'm like,
No, I don't either.
It reeks to me of this year's Beanie Baby.
Well, at least a Beanie Baby you can hold in your hand.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you forget your password or you lose your phone. It's like your entire house is gone now. Um, your whole collection. But people are doing it. Pops is doing it. Pops Van
Hi,
Sant. Yeah.
Pops.
Pops, I sent you. I'm sending you a package tomorrow, Pops. Um,
He's sending you a digital pet rock.
there you go. I've been busy today, Mike. As you know, because I got to work with you guys on Florida Man doing the packing list with our distribution and fulfillment service here. I've been packing these all day long for Kevin Philpott, and
Nice.
they're all done. They're almost, I don't know, 60 or 70 of them over here, all going out in the mail tomorrow. Let's not dox anybody by turning the label around.
Is that a special envelope?
This is a special envelope. We offer these to our clients. In fact, if you look at the wall over here, you can see the Glen one is hanging at the bottom corner.
I see.
These are ones we fulfilled. We've done the Rabbi from Another Planet. We did Life on Korra. We did Centennial Comics had Angels Awakening. It's an option that people can get. Kevin just happened to be one of the first 5 people who signed up for our service, and the first 5 got this for free. So I kicked this in just to show people how cool it can look to have this arriving on your doorstep and know exactly what's going to be in it. If I was a salesman, I'd say, wouldn't it be cool if you saw a thin blue line on an envelope and you knew it? But at the same time, I wouldn't do that because I've seen people actually soak these things down based on the images. Had a gentleman had to replace a package because he got the rabbi's package, and apparently the image of the rabbi inspired them to dunk the package in motor oil. Now the book was safe. It was sealed in a bag, but it was also taped to a cardboard box of prints, and the prints did not survive. So we replaced the prints because it's just part of what we do. So question is up. How you got your start with Weird Trips Magazine in '74? Someone's digging deep. Did you submit to Kitchen Sink, or what was the deal there?
Well, that's a funny story. Yeah, I was going to college at the time. I was living in a beat up old house on West Wash. It's probably still there. One day there was a knock at the door, and I go, and there's Dennis Kitchen. And he says, "Yeah, I hear you could write, and that you might want to do something with us." And because he had this newspaper, a weekly in Milwaukee, an alternative weekly. And so Dennis and I got to talking, and that's how I met him. And he invited me to submit, and so I started submitting stuff to Kitchen Sink. And the first thing I submitted was an article on how to modify a park water pistol to make it more powerful and hold more ammo. But then I started writing stories for him, and the high point was hooking up with Rand Holmes for a couple of stories, because that was a great honor. Rand was a great artist. He was to Wally Wood what Galassi is to Steranko, that is on steroids. Although I don't think anybody can really surpass Steranko these days. But Rand Holmes, unfortunately, he never got a leg up. He just led kind of a hardscrabble life, but his art is just brilliant. If you like Wally Wood, you got to check him out.
There's a lot of artists today that they're doing great work that I just, at the time when you were doing that, there weren't that many publishers. I mean, there's a handful, but if you don't have opportunities there, then they can't hire you. With crowdfunding now, it's like everybody who's got the talent can show it off and can make money at it, and I really love that about this era.
Well, it was also the year of the underground comic, which I loved, and it was just a huge flowering of brilliant talent. Guys like R. Crumb and Gilbert Shelton, and they're both alive, still working, and they're both geniuses. I mean, Gilbert Shelton's fabulous furry Freak Brothers strips are masterpieces of comic timing and just funny comics. They're actually funny. And of course, R. Crumb is a great artist. I mean, sometimes you see him just doing little doodles, but he does fine art too, and it's just brilliant. But what I admire most is his complete fearlessness and complete lack of self censorship. He put it all out there. He didn't care how it made him look. He put out material that's got him branded as a sexist, racist, homophobe in 7 continents, which is quite an achievement. I don't think he's any of those things. He's simply an artist without barriers.
I was going to say that I've got Dave Sims' autograph over here on the wall. Are you talking about the same guy? but because Dave's got the same appellations tossed at him all the time. Um, yeah, and the Freak Brothers, they made a cartoon series out of that. And
I'm dying to see it. I wonder where I can see it. You can catch little snippets of it on the internet.
yeah, it's on Tubi, some sort of streaming service, which is the only thing that gives me hope. Is that it's I say that, but then Netflix is also a streaming service, and they are notorious for
Their steaming service.
yeah, steaming service. It's a big old steaming pile of something.
Thanks, Pops. I'm going to check that out. I get YouTube.
Oh, cool. Yeah, everybody can get YouTube. All right, we'll check it out. See if it's anywhere near as
Horrendous, as they say.
yeah. I used to love reading the underground comics because they were
I miss
so
them.
lurid to me at the time.
They were little, but a lot of them were really well written and entertaining too.
Yeah, I wasn't that. I wasn't getting the deepness of them at the age when I was seeing them. I was reading things like Fritz the Cat, and like, oh yeah, I get what this is about, and really not getting what it was about until I got older. But Pop says it's hilarious, so maybe that'll be a good thing. You chose Karl Barks as one of your biggest influences, and you have not written a duck book.
Nobody can compete with Karl Barks. He was a master, not just of illustration, but of writing and storytelling in general. And anybody who wants to understand how to do a comic book should read Karl Barks, especially the Uncle Scrooge comics, but so many Donald Duck comics as well. His characterization was brilliant and consistent. His timing was impeccable. And his draftsmanship was very good too, although he rarely traveled. And he got most of his inspiration from National Geographics, but he would draw these huge scenes, such as a lost Mayan temple, for example, that would just take your breath away. And Don Rosa is a worthy successor. Don has done a lot of great work too, and he studied at the Master, and some of Don's stories hold up. They got the same beat to them.
Well, it's to give people an idea of how good Barks was. He was in retirement for years. Comes out of retirement, late _90s, early 2000s. Does a book, gets an Eisner.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was an Eisner awarded writer. I want to say within the last 15 years. I just saw it recently, because
I can ask Jackie Estrada. She was very close with him. All right, I'm sending you another picture. When I was 12 years old, I kept hounding Disney. I said, "Who is this guy? Where is he?" And they finally sent me Karl Barks' address. So I wrote him a letter. I said, "Dear Mr. Barks, would you send me a drawing of Scrooge McDuck?" And there it is.
That's priceless right there. That's wow. Is that in a frame somewhere in your house?
It's right here next to me.
Oh man, that would be. I would have that framed on the wall.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I'm going to have it framed. I've been a fool, but I've managed to keep it for 60 years.
Yeah, it's in great shape.
Yeah.
The signature's a little faded out, but and I find it interesting that he did the sketch, but what you don't get usually when you go to conventions these days and you say, "Hey, draw me a Batman. Hey, draw me a Punisher. Draw me a Spider-Man." He went ahead and put the copyright WDC on the bottom.
Oh, well, everybody had to be good company man, and they gave him a good deal of leeway as well. He was free to paint and sell his own duck pictures in his retirement. It's not like the Disney we know today, which is morphed into the Dark Empire or something.
Yeah, they bought Star Wars because this speaks to us. That's a beautiful looking picture there. Um, yeah, you could.
Let's scroll down till we get to Sergio's cover, which we unlock at 20. Oh, wait, stop there. That show that the jujitsu scene. That's what I mean about showing martial arts in a dynamic and kinetic and entertaining manner. Because we've all seen the big fist or the foot waving around and people flying out, but you don't actually see the technique, and that's what we want to do: show the technique.
Yeah, and this is pretty much textbook poses here too. So good, very good stuff. Let's see, find that cover. Find that cover. This is not that cover. Have we? Have we
There's
passed on that?
Joe.
Okay. Oh yeah, this is the
Responsible
artist.
man. Joe Arnold. I've known him for many years, since before he became a police officer, and now he's a full-time cop. He has been for 3 years, and he still finished the book faster than many professionals. And on the right is the brilliant Jeff Slemons, who inked it. And Jeff is a great artist in his own right. Go to jeffslemons.com and take a look. You'll be blown away.
Yeah, this artwork. Now this is a black and white book or is it a color book?
No, it's full color. It's full
Full color.
color.
Okay.
It's being colored right now.
Oh well, then next page answers that question. And I thought I saw pages in color, but when I see black and white, I always want to ask and be sure. Um, and this is the detail. This is where all hell breaks loose. They are on the detail, as the video described, to protect the mayor during the unrest, and then
The unrest.
the unrest becomes a
A
party.
riot.
Yes, it's no longer people slightly upset, but people burning buildings.
It's mostly peaceful.
Yeah, it's mostly peaceful, very peaceful looting. Um, I always wondered about that. It's like, I'm damn mad about that trial. The only thing that can make this right is for me to have a big screen TV that I can carry out.
That's Butch Geiss's cover. And as you know,
Yeah.
Butch and I worked on The Flash, and now we're working on a new story for Graham Nolan's Two-Fisted Manly Tales. And
Nice.
what a story it is.
It's like, Mike Barron, Butch Geiss, Graham Nolan, all the great comic book storytellers that we wonder, where'd they go? They're here, folks. They're in the Comicsgate movement. They're in the crowdfunding movement. Come come to the independent side of the comics. You'll be very happy here.
There's Sergio's cover.
That is very nice. Now this, she's our main character, but tell me about her partner here. Is that her partner or?
That's Three J's. They call him Three J's. 3J Schmidt. And you don't know why they call him 3J's until the very end of the story, and then it's going to blow your mind. But 3J's is a little shady, and they run into him in the middle of the night when Valeria is forced into a burned out liquor store by a gang. And she finds 3J's there handcuffed to a radiator, and that's how they meet up. But he's also on the first page because he's her mentor at the Jiu-Jitsu Academy. But then we don't see him for a while because her regular partner is Bob Mack. And it's Bob who picks her up in the morning and takes her to the mayor's detail. And this is a contribution by a police officer. This is one of our police officer pinups.
Yeah, you did say that you had police officers who were doing comic art. This is very nice. This is painted, it looks like.
Yeah.
We get some more pages here. How many pages are there in this, Mike? This big book, right?
It's 56 pages of story.
Yeah, that's a big book. So 56 pages, probably 4 or more pages of the pinups from officer contributions.
Yep.
And here, of course, are the links to, here's the Adopt a Cop BJJ, which is the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. This is where your featured tier is sending donations to. In fact, you're sending to all of these, aren't you? You're sending some to the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial Fund and the National Fallen Officer Foundation.
These dogs are back.
They bring any squirrels?
No, these are the two sweethearts. These two dogs here, they're just lovers.
Now, are you? What kind of I don't even know how to ask this question, Mike. But how much support are you getting from officers as far as promoting the book? I mean,
quite a bit.
Are they saying, "Hey, here's my Facebook page, and look, I'm supporting Mike Barron's comic book. Go get it. Go get one."
Well, there aren't very many police officers with Facebook pages for good reason. But the National Police Association contacted me and did an interview, which I've posted on our Facebook page and also on the Thin Blue Line page. And a number of police officers have reached out to me. In fact, one of them reached out and said he was so pleased to hear about my book because his boy is constantly being harassed at school because his father's a police officer. And the police officer says, "I wish you lived in Colorado. We could do a ride along." Well, guess what? He's coming over for dinner Friday.
Oh, that's perfect. Bringing the boy with him?
Yeah. And load him up with comic books.
Oh, I don't even know how many copies of comps you've still got from your career.
Plenty. I've been hauling them around with me.
I bet. You still have copies of your first comic, Mike? The first one you did, not the first one.
That was probably Tie Tack with Larry Gonick. I might have a copy here somewhere. It's not very good. The first comic I did that knocked it out of the park was the first black and white Nexus, and I think I have a copy in the basement.
Yeah, I would love to walk through the Mike Barron Museum of Comics sometime. Speaking of first comics, though, what was your first one? What got you hooked into this medium?
You mean the first comic I produced, or the first comic that grabbed me?
The first comic that grabbed you as a reader.
Uncle Scrooge.
Uncle Scrooge. Okay.
Yeah.
Pops is confessing in the chat here, and some convicted felons love this book too. Well, the reformed convicted felons. Let's put that out there, right, Pops. But by the way, I had my Pops tribute hat on earlier, but I took it off because I didn't want people to think that
that you weren't bald.
Yeah, I didn't want to think I had hair or anything. Didn't want to think I was Pops. I'd throw the horns, and I wanted.
Thank you, Bap too.
Oh, fantastic, Bap too. Thank you. Let's do a refresh on here. We'll be looking at here 18168. Let's watch this one go up and see if we can't get our shake and bake moment playing here.
All right.
18162 has gone up to 18199, and that is that, Mike, is when we have our shake and bake moment on the show, and it goes like this.
It's shake and bake, and I help.
So thank you, Baptu, for helping out here, and being the shaker and baker on the show here. 18199.
Great.
So that is $801. 1801 away from that 20,000 goal, folks.
Yeah.
We need a lot more. We need to. Yes, Nick, you're right. We need to unlock that Sergio cover. So.
Not on the lips, Freddie.
And not only that, but at 20, Mike's going to dye his hair blue.
That's true.
You're not going to dye Freddie blue, are you?
No.
Okay. Because that would be that people would think he was the Blues Clues dog. Link, Dark Admiral March Hare. The link is in two places. Dark Admiral March Hare. It is at the top of the chat in which you are speaking, and it is below the video which you are watching. And it won't take you away from the chat.
I don't see that link there. Get out of here, guys. Don't knock anything over. Somebody post the link in the comments again.
Is it not at the top of the chat? It's supposed to be pinned in the YouTube chat.
I don't think so. I don't see it.
Well, that's just.
But I can barely work this computer.
That's just why, if I go to YouTube right now, what'll happen is that it'll start a great big echo.
Right. Don't do that. Do you want me to send you the link?
Now we got the link. We got the
All
link.
right.
I got this. I'll pull it up on the phone.
Wow.
Yeah, it's right here on top.
It just went up.
It's pinned. It just went up again. So they
Yep.
found the link.
Get out of here. I love my dogs.
The dogs are just trying to, help the show. Yeah, it went up. It went up to 18,255. So thank you so much. Yeah, Pops has seen the link. So the link's there.
Pops sees all, knows all.
Pops sees all, knows all, and I will be on Pops's CromCon the 28th of this month. Being run by the last panel of the CromCon, and talking with whoever I can line up with there. We don't have a theme. Maybe we should come up with a Thanksgiving theme. What could we be thankful for in comics this year? It might be a good topic of discussion. Certainly not much in the mainstream, I guess. But
I don't know.
yeah, it's hard. I mean, maybe that won't be a good topic of discussion after all. It'll be too short.
Well, there's always the movies.
Yeah. Well, we had some decent movies. I watched Eternals Friday night. And honestly, the only two things I remember were that the villain turned out to be the only white guy on the team, and the not quite after, but into the credits promo video for the next film brought out an interesting character that we hadn't seen in the MCU before.
I saw a movie called Let Him Go, starring Kevin Costner and Diane Lane. It takes place in the 60s.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Brilliant.
That's tough to watch.
Brilliant, brutally realistic thriller. Just one of the best films I've seen in years, because you believed every second of it. And that's what I need today in entertainment. When I watch a movie, I have to believe that it could actually happen. And that doesn't mean it can't be fantastical or something, because Alien falls in that quality, and Aliens falls in that category too. But this is just one of the best. It just stank of reality and was totally gripping the whole way through.
The scariest movies are the ones where you don't have a slasher that's immortal or an alien from outer space, but just another human being who is just evil to the core.
I know nobody can compare with humans for evil, but we don't go to the movies to see a parade of cruelty. We go to the movies to be entertained, and the best movies do this, even when they make us cringe. I had a great teacher in college. His name was Jerry McNeely, and he said, "You make them laugh a little bit, you make them cry a little bit." You scare the hell out of them, and that's entertainment.
Yeah, which sometimes it's hard to do in a horror movie. I told you Stu writes for the site. This was the review he did for us today, and this is you've seen this one, Mike?
Nope.
That was this was
That's,
one
to me, that's the theater of cruelty, which I try to avoid. The
Yeah,
horror I like is supernatural, like The Exorcist, where you get that sense that the supernatural is real and that it's evil. And when it lays its cold finger on your spine, you shiver. It's called that frisson of terror, in recognition that the universe is a wild and limitless space, and that we're frail little creatures that only understand a tiny sector of it. The Exorcist 3 is brilliant. The Changeling, starring George C. Scott. The Ring. These are movies that do it for me.
Yeah, the Exorcist. I used to live in St. Louis, and that's where it happened. And it was there was a house in Soulard It's known as the Exorcist house. Somebody lives there. They just, it's just their house. But one of the radio guys that I would listen to regularly, he did a Halloween show every year at a different location, and one year he procured the rights to do the Exorcist house, and he had his priest friend with him, and they were going to broadcast in there, and one of the things that happened was that he was, Dave Glover's his name. He was in the main floor, and he heard his producer call him upstairs. And he went upstairs and into the kid's room looking for his producer, couldn't find him, looked out the window, and his producer was out in the backyard talking with the crew. And he beat feet downstairs. He's like, "Did you call me?" He's like, "No." So and you had a ton of weird things happen in that house. I got to interview him and his crew at the radio station the next year, and he said, one of the things, his priest man, he said, "Can we cuss on this show?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not television." He says, my priest friend went in there and he walked out, and I said, "Everything okay?" And he turned around and said, "Some fucked up shit happened in that place," and just kept walking and would not turn back around. So, yeah, it's supernatural, but it has to be also believable, and that's I think that's
the hard part.
You're a good writer. Yeah, you got to make it believable that maybe there is something that can do that. Aliens, it's a lot of space out there. Maybe there is something out there that is a bigger predator than we are.
Mike, thanks for dropping in.
Hey, Mike. Yeah, the mic stand's getting ready to start in about 10 minutes on his channel. So, when you're done here, just pop over to the mic stand. And this is Wednesday, so he'll be getting into niche news. Mike's got a cool show on Fridays too, Mike. Both my mic's mixed up here.
I got a show too. It's on tomorrow at 4 p.m. We're interviewing Bart Sears.
That's right.
And,
another royalty show. It's a Baron and Earl.
Baron and Earls.
So
Barons and Earls.
And I've got that link below the link to the campaign below this video. So I've got a link to your channel there. Definitely follow
Thanks,
that.
RJ.
Hit it and subscribe, folks, because you're going to want to hear these two creators talk regularly about what's going on in comics here. And then if you've heard about people saying, "Hey, I want to read comics. Where's a good place to start?" Mike Walters' place to start was the very first comics. He's been every Friday just going back to the golden age and progressing forward, reading and learning about what these stories were and who the creators were, and he's piling up information about this book says it was written by this person, but that's actually a pseudonym for Will Eisner before he was Will Eisner. So there's a lot of stuff he's pulling out there, worth watching. Captain Cockney Mirror Spock, your name keeps getting longer, Captain Spock. Just seeing Mike Barron's name is taking me right back to 1983 and Indie Comics member berries. Yeah, I mean, for me, I mean, I read Nexus, I read Badger, but I think the thing that really stood out for me was your Flash run.
Oh, thank you.
It was the first time that a superhero didn't just have a weakness, but he had human frailties and human needs. It's like health insurance, caloric intake, things that he had to keep track of.
Yeah, he was a modern guy.
Exactly. Now, was it planned from the beginning that he was going to win the lottery and become a millionaire? Because
I don't remember, RJ.
Because I'm sitting here thinking, this is great. He's like got no job. He's got to do this for this and then do this for that. I'm like, oh crap! Now he's a millionaire, just like all the other heroes. He doesn't have to worry about it anymore. I liked it when he had to worry about it.
Well, geez, I could always go back and reread those issues, but I'm so many words past that at this point. I'm working on so many projects.
Keep looking ahead.
They're just keeping the projects that I'm working on straight is hard enough. My next project, which I'm doing with Gary Kissel, is called Private America.
Private America. So
Private America.
An enlisted man.
It's the book you want.
Okay, so where are we going to find Private America?
Oh, geez, I just finished the script today. I wouldn't look for it for another year at least, but
Another year.
It's going to blow your mind.
Pop says Bart did a cover for Outlier.
Yeah, that's right. Well, we're going to see that tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's-
I can't remember. I'm sorry. I talked to so many folks. I can't remember the guy who does Outliers, but he's been on the show a couple of times too. And
Lincoln Branch.
Yeah, Lincoln. B. Lincoln Branch, I believe, is the full name there.
The one and only.
So so you know his name. Perfect.
Yep.
Pops got it covered here. I got to get him back on here again. By the way, if you're a comic creator, this is the last show I have slotted in my calendar. Everything's open from tomorrow night forward. So if you want to get on here and help make me look bad, let me know what night you want. We'll get you on here. And we'll take care of it. Mike, we are coming up on the top of the hour here, and I haven't even gone through all the bundles, but I don't think I really need to. No one needs to have them read to them. It's like reading a PowerPoint out loud.
Yeah, the thing about the book is it's the book itself. It's the story that you want. I guarantee you're going to love it.
Yeah, and boy, I almost wish you could find like back issues of Lady Cop and just say, hey, we have 5 of them. We're going to put them on a special tier. If you buy it, we'll give you the book and we'll give you Lady Cop.
They're around.
They are around. I've got one myself, actually. I'm pretty sure. If not, I had one at one time. I will point out that there's a retailer pack here because I think those are always important considerations in crowdfunding campaigns. Because you can't reach the market that's going into the stores and isn't online if you don't get something into the store. And then people say, where did this come from? Oh, it's an online campaign. You should check out, their Indiegogos. You'll find all kinds of new comics there. And I do know a lot of retailers like to carry them. So if you're a retailer, get your 5 copies here. Wow. 5 more days. Somebody asked earlier if you're going to go in demand with this. You're going to keep it open?
I think so.
Yeah. It's just money left on the table. This is just your first 30 days too, right?
Yep.
Okay, so probably Chris is probably going to extend it for 30 and then leave it in demand. Wait a second. Well, no wonder you know Lincoln Branch's name.
No, I had nothing to do with that book.
Oh, okay. Rumor squashed. Glad to have that. Outside of the indie scene, I'm more interested in learning about the creators than what the big publishers are putting out. Reading about Herb Trimp. Is it Trimp or Trimpy? I've never known.
He's Trimpy.
Trimpy, okay. Yeah, I used to love reading his Hulk stories. That was... and I think he also did some work for Cracked Magazine. Or Don Shin.
Pops, if I said I edited that book, I misspoke. I've only seen the cover.
Apparently Lincoln said it. So maybe that means that he showed it to you and you said, I like this. That counts. That counts as edited. Now, I do know one thing that you're going to be doing here in the next few months. Last year, about a year and a half ago, we put out this book here called The Devil You Know, which was a collection of stories, fiction, 20 different authors about, people who run afoul, run into, run with the devil. And, the literal Lucifer, Satan, Beelzebub, the horned guy with the tail and everything. Comedy, science fiction, horror, romance, open to all genres. Well, guess what? We are doing it all over again. And we have, where is that? There it is. We are doing The Devil You Know Better, which is going to be another collection of 20. And we're going to have that. We're reading stories now through the end of March. And we're going to do a crowdfunder for a special edition of it because that guy has a story in the book. And you're joined by Hart Fisher, who will have a story in the book.
Yeah, Hart and I are talking about working together.
Oh, that's going to be awesome. Not on this book, I'm sure.
Speaking of the devil, I just want to point out that I wrote this novel And it's about how Badger fights the devil. That's what the book is about.
Oh, that he's everywhere now, both Badger and the Devil. So now, where can people get that book, Mike?
From me, just drop me a line.
All right, everybody, just at Bloody Red Baron on Twitter.
I'm on Twitter.
So get a hold of him, get the book.
Oh, I got lots of stuff. Boys. This is not what I meant to grab, but here it is. It's a horror graphic novel I wrote based on the life of Frank Lloyd Wright. I'm very proud of it. You can look it up on Amazon.
I think I've actually read that.
I must have sent you a copy. I'm always sending people copies.
Yeah.
And then this just came out.
Oh, that looks nice.
It's over 200 pages. Oh, geez, the architect was hiding inside. Now it's 250 pages. But anyhow, it's all dude. It's a lot of dude.
That's all that Steve Root artwork. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, he's great. But I didn't write it.
You didn't write it.
Nope.
You just have it because it's your character, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you ever see a writer do something with one of your babies, and you're like, why did?
Yes.
Okay. Can you elaborate? You've got it right there.
No. This is brilliant.
Oh. That's not what I was asking.
About.
Okay, so you know the feeling of like, somebody's hurt my kid.
It doesn't bother me. We're both pursuing our own images, our own versions of the character, and I have a lot of Nexus in the works. Monster Hunt 2, Let's Get Kraken, should be going to the printer any day now. Richard Bonk and I have a Nexus graphic novel coming out from Dark Horse, and then there's another one after that, and then I'm doing a Nexus series with Sergio.
You got Nexus coming out from several different publishers. You got Splato's doing a Nexus book with.
That's what I just held up. That's the Splato book, Kelsey Shannon.
Oh yeah, that's awesome looking triplets. Okay. All right, Mike, we just went a little bit over here, but so glad to have you on. I'm going to let you get to your next show here because I know you're booked back to back, I believe.
Thank you, RJ.
So thank you for coming. Can't wait to have you on again. Thought I was never going to have you on again after you were on Ethan Van Sciver's show. I'm like, well, great, he's too big for this show now.
Oh, I've never been on his show.
But so glad you're here. Folks in the chat, thank you for coming. Definitely hit the link. Get out there and back the thin blue line so that Mike's hair can go blue for us. We'd love to see that.
Good night, folks.
As always, we just hope you had a blast.